In this lesson, we will be looking at how to solve word problems that use multiplication. We've already explored the basics of multiplication in earlier lessons, so now let's look at 3 different types of word problems that require you to use multiplication. The first type of multiplication word problem, is the most straightforward. This is where the product is the part that is unknown. You're given the number of items in one set, and you're given the multiplier amount, but you're not told the product. These are called unknown product problems, and they're the most straightforward type of problem because when you are practicing multiplication facts in school, usually you're given 4 times 3 equals, and you have to fill in the blank. So these word problems are similar to that. The product is the part that you're solving for. Let's take an example of this type of problem. It reads, Blackbeard the pirate is saving up gold doubloons to buy a new treasure chest. Last month he saved 10 gold doubloons. This month he saved 3 times as much money as he saved last month. How many gold doubloons did Blackbeard save this month? This problem is similar to the problems you explored in Lesson 4. It's a comparison problem. It's asking, how much did he save if we know that he saved 3 times as much as he saved previously? So we can think about the way that we set those problems up in Lesson 4, which was our set size times our multiplier equals our product. Our set size in this case is that we know he saved 10 gold doubloons last month. That's in the problem, and we put that down at the bottom there. We're going to be multiplying. We know that it's asking us how much he saved if he saved 3 times as much. We see that word times, we know we need to multiply. And we know that our multiplier is 3, so we'd add that to our problem. 10 times 3, we can do our math there and figure out that our answer is 30. Blackbeard saved 30 gold doubloons this month, because 10 times 3 equals 30. Now, whenever you finish a math problem of any kind, especially a word problem, you should go back to the original problem and ask yourself, what is the question I was being asked? And does my answer make sense? You want to make sure you're actually answering what they're asking you, and that your answer is logical. It should be a larger number if you're multiplying and you're trying to find your product. So our question in this case was, how many gold doubloons did Blackbeard save this month? And we multiplied a whole number by a whole number, 3 times 10. So the amount of doubloons Blackbeard saved this month should be more than he saved last month. He saved 10 last month, and our answer was 30. 30 is more than 10. Our answer is a whole number, so it makes sense. Now, the second type of multiplication word problem you might encounter is what's called an unknown set size problem. Sometimes the part that's unknown is the number of items in one set. You're given one factor and you're given the final product, and you need to figure out the value of the other factor in the set. In these problems, you'll use the skills we practiced in Lesson 3 on finding a missing factor. Now you can solve these problems in 2 ways. You can use the strategies we practiced, like skip counting or drawing a picture, or you can use division. And in this case, we're just going to focus on multiplication, but you can use division to solve these problems. Let's look at an example of one of these. Josie grew 20 carrots in her garden. She grew 4 times as many carrots as Millie. How many carrots did Millie grow? So in this problem, we see another key word there, 4 times as many as. It's one of the key phrases that tells us this is a multiplication comparison problem. We're wanting to know what could be multiplied by 4 to get 20. We want to know 20 is 4 times bigger than some number, and we want to know what that number is. Our set size is the thing that is unknown here. We don't know how many carrots Millie grew. So that we would put a question mark. And we know we're multiplying because we see times as many as. We know that it's 4 times as many, and that would equal 20. So we're looking for 20 is 4 times as many as a certain number. Now what is it? We could use our skip counting strategy to solve this problem. We could skip count by 4s, use that factor we know, which is 4. Skip count 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. We see that we skip counted 5 times, so our unknown set size must be 5. 5 times 4 equals 20, or another way to say that would be 20 is the same as 4 times as many as 5. Millie grew 5 carrots. So let's check our work before we're done. What was the question we were being asked? We were being asked, how many carrots did Millie grow? And does our answer make sense? Our answer tells how many carrots Millie grew. We did answer the question. We were looking for a number that could be multiplied by 4 to get 20. 5 times 4 does equal 20, so our answer makes sense. In the final type of multiplication word problem we're looking at today, you're given the number of items in the first set, and you're given the number of items in a second set, which is the product, and then you're asked to compare those two numbers through multiplication. The number that is unknown here is the multiplier, the amount you multiply the first set by to figure out how many times bigger the second set is than the first. We call these problems unknown multiplier problems because that's the part that's missing. And they're another type of multiplication comparison with a missing factor. So you're going to use those skills you learned or you practiced in lesson 3. These problems will have many keywords to help you. It will ask you to find out how many times bigger, how many times taller or faster or longer the product or the bigger number is than the set size, the smaller number it gives you. So let's look at an example of one of these problems. Percy is 5 feet tall. The Minotaur is 15 feet tall. How many times taller than Percy is the Minotaur? So in this equation, we can show the information as an equation with a missing factor. How many times taller is a key phrase. It's telling us that this is one where we need to compare those two numbers, 5 and 15, but we don't know our multiplier. So our set size would be 5, Percy's set size, and we know our Minotaur's set size is 15. And we need to know 15 is how many times bigger than 5. What would we be multiplying 5 by to get 15? So we can again use skip counting. It might be clear to you when you see this. You know the answer right off the top of your head. Let's just practice our skip counting routine, which is to count by 5s because that's the factor we know. 5, 10, 15. We see that we counted 3 times to get to 15, so our missing factor must be 3. 5 times 3 equals 15, or 15 is 3 times bigger than 5. The Minotaur is 3 times as tall as Percy. And let's check our answers. What is the question we were being asked, and does our answer make sense? The question we were asked is how many times taller than Percy is the Minotaur? And our answer gave us, we listed the Minotaur is 3 times taller than Percy, so we're answering that question. Does our answer make sense? Our answer tells how many times taller the Minotaur is than Percy, and we were looking for a number that could be multiplied by 5 to get 15. 5 times 3 does equal 15, so our answer makes sense.